Wesołe Wielkanoce. I hope I said it right. Happy Easter to everyone. I hope you will spend a wonderful day with your family. But as a Easter gift, the greatest, let's go with that, Language Simp gifted us a language review of the Polish language. This is gonna be hilarious. So without any further ado, let's watch this video together. Let's go.
Just kidding. Elo wina, elo żelo i witam w mojej kuchni. Imię legalnie nadane mi na chrzcie to językowy profil i jestem ze Stanów Zjednoczonych Ameryki. Dzisiaj zrecenzuję język polski, otherwise formerly known.
Who's the girl in the... Is that Avril Lavigne?
Stanów Zjednoczonych Ameryki. Dzisiaj zrecenzuję język polski, otherwise formerly known as Wi-Fi.
Oh, maybe it's Sana. Could be Sana. She actually kind of looked like Avril Lavigne a little bit. I mean, I don't know. Let me know in the comments.
Ameryki. Dzisiaj zrecenzuję język polski, otherwise formerly known as Wi-Fi password language, upgraded Russian, dancing Kowian, Bulgarski, or Pierogi language. This is the 12th episode of Language Review, a series where I go through the languages of the world and review them, sort of like a film critic or a video game reviewer, but for language.
Yeah, if you haven't watched the other videos, oh my god, I laughed my ass off to the Italian language review. It was so funny.
Specifically from the perspective of a language learner. I'll discuss who speaks them, their grammar, their difficulty, and tons of other stuff before finally giving them an official Language Simp certified rating on the Simp scale. If you enjoy this video, let me know in the comments which language you'd like me to review next, and without further ado, lecimy z tym koksem.
Polish? I love Poland. It's my favorite country in Eastern Europe.
Eastern Europe? Don't say that. The Poles identify way more with the West. And the center of Europe is technically way over there in Lithuania, so shut up.
Oh, sorry. I'm American, so I don't know anything. I don't even know where I am on a map.
We live here now, on the Gulf of America. We moved. Anyway, Polish is really only spoken in Poland, which is a country located in Eastern Europe, which means learning it really only unlocks communication DLC with one group of NPCs. But this is some quality DLC. Poland is a great place, and I went there. In the winter. But aside from the sun setting at 2 p.m. and being robbed there, it was great. Just kidding, I was absolutely not robbed in Poland. Crime was eradicated there alongside communism. But seriously, I can't stress enough just how quality this DLC is. On a scale of 1 to 2,137, I rate Poland at 2,137 out of 2,137. I mean, Poland realistically shouldn't even be here. Do you know anything about their history? Everyone from every direction tried to kill them at the same time, and they and their language survived, and now Poland is the fastest growing economy in Europe. And it honestly might be the best country I've ever visited. I'm especially fond of Polish stores. I love the Biedronka ladybug with all my heart, and I would happily die right now for a Żabka hot dog. I confidently call Poles Chads, and because of the generous aid they gave to Haiti during their revolution, the Haitians...
Yes. I was just listening... Wait, when it was? I think it was a month ago. I was listening to a French podcast for me to learn French, and they were talking about, because the French guy that is teaching French, he lives, or at least he used to live, I think he went back to France now, he used to work in Poland as a French teacher, and he was telling about this story of during the French Revolution in Haiti, that the Polish people went to fight there too, and then they settled down because they didn't know what the main point for France was there. They thought they were doing something good, but they weren't, so they decided to settle there and help the Haitian. So that's pretty cool. We should definitely be reacting to this story in details, for sure.
Call them a whole nother endearing term that I don't think I'm allowed to say as a colonizer. And with beautiful nature coupled with gorgeous architecture, delicious banshki, and even the best soccer player ever who is better than Messi and Ronaldo combined, Poland is sure to have something for everyone.
I mean, it's a whole different thing, you know. We don't really have that many strikers nowadays, if you think about it. I mean, not as great and scoring as many goals as Lewandowski, for sure, at least.
Polish also graciously leaks.
Wait, why is it so bad, the quality? Is it? I think it's just, yeah.
into neighboring countries, most notably Lithuania, Belarus, and the Ukraine, where it is a minority language. However, tariff land Polish mogs the rest of the world, as we have around 11 million Polish Americans, mainly in Chirac. But depressingly, only north of 600,000 of them actually know how to speak femboy Russian. So in total, about 43 million NPCs speak the language, which means learning Polish will unlock you a little bit of DLC, not much, really just one country, but it's a good one. And if you decide to learn Polish, you must first decide which variety of the language you'd like to concentrate on, as there's a huge divide between what is commonly referred to as Polska A and Polska B. Polska A, west of the European Mason-Dixon line, is home to the femboy. In this region, they speak a soft, sweet, and downright irresistible version of the language. Then Polska B, east of the European Mason-Dixon line, is home to the doomer. But thankfully, it doesn't really matter which of the two you learn, as these two groups can understand each other pretty much perfectly. And in 2025, most Polish NPCs speak in a relatively standardized way, especially the Gen Beta Poles. P-Land technically still has regional dialects, as you can see on this map, but they barely exist. Aside from a few exceptions, the only differences between these are the use of certain words, and that's not enough to call them dialects, so let me blast through this section real quick. There's Greater Polish, spoken by people in and around Poznan, and which has some vocab influenced by German, and it's called Greater because it's better than the other dialects. Then there's Lesser Polish, spoken by people in and around Krakow and Zakopane, which has some vocab influenced by Slovak, and it's called Lesser because it's less great than Greater Polish. Some people online say it sounds a bit softer, more relaxed, and more femboy-y, but I don't believe it, because Pope John Paul II spoke this one, and he was not a femboy. Then there's Silesian, which is really a completely separate DLC language in an expansion region that's been tossed back and forth between German, Czech, and Polish control, like your mom. It's kind of controversial to call it a...
Wasn't his Silesia, or however you pronounce it, I forgot, part of the Prussian Empire in the past? I think so, right? I have these memories back in the days when I still was studying in high school or middle school, I don't remember, about the Prussian Empire fighting over Silesia. Was it Frederick the Great or something like that? I think so, right? Am I tripping right now? I don't know. I might be.
Separate language, and Polish nationalists might not like it, but YOLO. They also have some funky letters that don't exist in regular Polish. Then there's Kashubian, which again is really not Polish. It's more like a separate, distinct language that is sadly endangered. It's the only remaining remnant of the Pomeranian language, which is really cool because these guys are really cute. And finally, there is Mazovian Polish, spoken in and around Warsaw, and this is the basis for standard Polish, and it sounds neutral. This is what you'll choose to learn if you're not a try-hard dumbass who wants to make things unnecessarily hard for yourself for no reason. Seriously, Polish is already hard enough, which we'll get into soon, so please just learn standard Polish. No one learns Polish, bro. Seriously, you don't need to learn Silesian or speak Kashubian backwards to shock natives and make friends. But if you do want to go to Poland, or any other country for that matter, you should check out the sponsor of today's video, Saily. Saily is a new eSIM service app that offers you several affordable eSIM plans in over 200 countries, allowing you to easily get connection abroad or even in your home country. I used to go through my carrier for data when I traveled, but that took too long, was way too expensive.
Yeah, I needed that. I still remember a couple of weeks ago I went to Switzerland and yeah, I had to deactivate my data. Otherwise I would have just ripped me off totally in Switzerland. Everything was so damn expensive. It was just a day trip, but yeah, I couldn't use internet the whole day. It was kind of annoying.
And once they even forgot to activate it for me. But now, I and recently a bunch of my friends started using Saily because it barely took any time to set it up. It's much more convenient than buying a physical SIM card, and I can be using my phone as soon as I land. And right now, you can get an exclusive 15% discount on Saily eSIM data plans. Download the Saily app or scan the code on screen today and use code Language Simp at checkout. Looking for SIM cards while traveling is not fun, and often you can't even find them. Now Now, instead of desperately running around looking for public Wi-Fi like a beta, you can install the
Like a
Saily
beta.
eSIM, and you won't even have to install a new one for each country. Saily is compatible for both iOS and Android devices, and if your device happens to not be compatible, they'll give you a full refund. Get an exclusive 15% discount on Saily eSIM data plans today. Download the Saily app and use code LanguageSimp at checkout, or scan the code on screen to get started. Now it's time to talk about the writing system. The Polish language is written in a very modified version of the American alphabet with 32 letters instead of the naturally occurring 26 found in the wild. And boy is it easy. This might be the simplest and most straightforward writing system in the universe. It's almost as intuitive as Mandarin Chinese. Firstly, a bunch of letters were directly copied from American, so no difficulty there. Same look, same pronunciation. Then there are a few sussy imposter letters that look the same but are a little different. The C makes a ts sound because why not? The H is a bit harsher like h, no big deal. The J makes a Y sound like y, nothing out of the ordinary here. The W is actually a V. Okay, I see y'all showing love to your friendly German neighbors. And the Y is sort of like a ooey sound in Russian, which is super easy. Then they have two letters that are furries with tails coming out of them. And these make nasal vowel sounds. The A for sona is like and the E for sona is like It should be noted that despite sounding gay when said in French, these nasal sounds are certified not gay when said in Polish. They also have a bunch of letters with a little slanted kielbasa on top of them. The N kielbasa combo was inspired by the Mexican N with a unibrow, and it sounds soft like nya 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 nya. Then the C with the kielbasa is easy. It's just a che sound. Honestly, you don't even need me to teach you the rest of them. Just take a look at this word. It means boat in Polish, and it's also the name of the objectively greatest city in Europe, even though the city has no bodies of water and therefore no boats. Anyway, I guarantee you can pronounce it without my help. Give it a try. Seriously, say it out loud. If you
I don't know, it's a watch. No, I don't know.
You said wooch? Right. You're correct. Congratulations.
Oh, kinda then, right? Watch, wooch. I don't know.
See, it was easy. But if you said loads, you need to get yourself checked out. You see, the L with a stick going through it makes a W sound, and the O with the kielbasa makes the U sound. So yes, this is the Polish equivalent of and then the Z with the kielbasa on top of it makes the zh sound. Loads. I mean, wooch. Sorry, it takes a little getting used to. Are you traumatized yet? You probably are. Honestly, I'm sorry. I've been gaslighting you for a while.
Shout out to all the Uj fans that are watching this video right now and they are hating me for my pronunciation and probably his as well. Please tell me how to pronounce it properly if I'm saying it super bad.
Polish writing system is insane, but it's a little easier when you start to look at words in context. Let's take the simplest word that everyone has to say all the time. Hello. There is no way the word for hello could be difficult. Okay, don't panic, Randy. It's just ch, or chest? Okay. What about a different random word? I'm literally just gonna use a random word generator on Google. Kurwa mać. Believe it or not, this is one syllable. I was gonna pronounce it out loud for you guys, but I said it once and my neighbors thought I was having a seizure. They called an ambulance and now I'm 30K in American medical debt. So just listen to Google Translate. You might think, oh, Language Simp, you just picked the hard words. But no, the entire language looks like this. It's crazy. I could meme it and pick some absurdly long, uncommon word like this. And sure, that's funny and way too complicated.
Kilogrammowy.
But I just don't have to look that far to find something that will outrage you. Pick any random word, like happiness. This is the word for happiness, for crying out loud. And somehow it's only 2 syllables.
Szczęście.
Oh, but maybe there's an easier synonym for happiness. Nope, never mind.
Uszczęśliwienie.
Written Polish looks like a Bitcoin wallet address, or your paranoid friend's Wi-Fi password.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely... There is some resemblance, there is some resemblance. Okay, this one you can tell it's definitely a word.
Written Polish looks like a Bitcoin wallet address or your paranoid friend's Wi-Fi password. Honestly, I think I'd have an easier time.
It's so funny though, it's so funny. But it's okay. Once you get used to it, I don't know. I feel like it saves lots of space if you write it down by hand.
Pronouncing my
Your
Bitcoin
alphabet.
wallet address than this language. I wouldn't be surprised if some dialects of Polish have numbers, exclamation
Maria Curie.
points, and at signs in the middle of their words. I'm just gonna come out of the closet and say it. I know a lot of people are gonna hate me for this opinion, but I'd bet a whole Żabka hot dog that I'm not the only
Żabka.
person who has this opinion. I think Polish would look a lot nicer and be more approachable for learners if it were written in another alphabet. I understand why
think
y'all
so.
don't want Cyrillic. Even though it would be better, y'all don't want to be associated with Bulgaria. I get it. But come on, guys, at least make your own unique character system like Mandarin or
I think it's okay, you know, once you get used to I think in a couple of days, once you have learned the proper pronunciation for each letter, you'll be able to pronounce any word, you know? Probably not perfectly as a native, but still, I don't think it's that impossible. There are other stuff that are more scary in the Polish language, especially the cases for sure. Now he's
screw
going
it,
to talk
have
about
three
it. for
alphabets like anime language, or better yet, just don't write. But even if you get over the Polish writing system, this language is impossible to pronounce. It sounds like a honeybee buzzing out he ass, finna pollinate that shit like zzz, bzz, 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 bzz. I probably just said something in Polish. But if you focus really hard, the mumbling sounds slowly turn into a beautiful, flowy rhythm. It's an acquired taste, so if you can get over the incredibly intimidating sounds, I promise you will enjoy listening to Polish. Music in the
I do
language is
enjoy that.
phenomenal. My favorite singer is
Yes.
Maryla Rodowicz, who is kind of like the older Mariah Carey of Poland.
Oh, I've never heard her. What the hell? Why was she never recommended to me?
Who only comes out during the Christmas season. But at least Polish vocab isn't too bad. For starters, let's look at how you say the word yes. No. The word for yes in Polish is no. That's not confusing. In general, no one outside of Poland knows how to say anything in this language. Like, if you ask someone how to say hi in French, they'll say bonjour, and everyone knows hola in Spanish, but I don't think the average
Hola.
foreigner can even say hi in Polish. What they can say, however, is kurwa. Somehow this word, which as a male
Yes.
feminist I find to be deeply disrespectful, is Poland's biggest export. Oh, and also the word bobr, which means beaver. Bobr. For some reason, Polish NPCs are obsessed with finding beavers in the wild, chasing them, and screaming expletives. It's a cultural thing, like the Second Amendment. You wouldn't understand. And Poles love when you remind them of it. And Poland's biggest import is the word XD. It comes from RuneScape and World of Warcraft culture, but I have
Yes.
never seen a people group spam XD as much as the Poles. In some languages, people laugh like ja 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 or k k
Ja, 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 ja.
but Poles laugh with lowercase xd if something is a little funny, capital XD with a few extra Ds if it's really funny, and tons of big Ds if they're LMFAOing or wrong.
I mean, I used to do that too as a teenager.
But even though Polish is a niche language, monolingual betas know more of it than they think they do. First of all, there are tons of borrowed words from American like jeans and Facebook, which are my favorites due to their wacky spelling. Then there are a few words like bagel and
Bagel,
vodka that
vodka.
are actually Polish in origin. Newsflash guys, vodka's not from Russia, it's from Poland, and if you didn't know that, you were brainwashed by Russian disinformation. In general,
I knew
Polish
that.
vocab is very Slavic, but not always masculine. Polish words can be put in one of three different categories. They can be manly, like the word for soldier in Polish, which is wojak. I'm not even kidding, the wojak meme and the word are Polish, but it's actually pronounced wojak, which is the most alpha
Wojak.
Slavic masculine thing I've heard all month. Then there are neutral, non-binary, genderqueer sounding words. Like thank you is dziękuję, which is tough sounding, but the nasals make it a little soy. And then there are soy boy
Dziękuję.
words, like the cute little bow, which means because. And a good example of this word's use is in this easy Polish video that I was featured in, where I somehow pulled fluent jaw-dropping Polish out my ass. I'll put a link in the
Bro, I want to see that video.
description if you're curious. Another one of my favorite things to say in Polish is przykład, and it's a great example of all the
Przykład.
features you can expect from Polish vocab. 1. Brutal consonant clusters that look impossible to pronounce. 2. A pronunciation that does not at all correspond to how it's written, przykład. And 3. A ton of different forms because unfortunately the Polish language has a case system. Yep, Polish has a case system that will make you piss and sweat. Especially when you realize that that there are 7 cases in total. That's 1 more than Russian, 3 more than German, and 7 more than Afrikaans, to put it into perspective. Before I explain Polish cases, I must give you a little trigger warning. If you are easily upset by grammar that makes no sense or is complicated for no reason, or if you suffer from anxiety, depression, or especially schizophrenia, consider skipping to this timestamp. Also, if you don't know what cases are and you want to preserve your innocence, please skip to this part, otherwise keep watching. Nouns in Polish have 14 different forms that they can shapeshift into depending on the noun's function in a sentence. Let's take the word wojak, for example. If the wojak is the subject of the sentence, it will remain wojak because it's in the nominative singular case. But if the wojak is the object of the sentence, you say wojaka, which is in the accusative singular case. And if you're calling out to a wojak, you'll say wojaka. That's the dreaded vocative case that isn't used in Russian these days, so it confuses me. And one last example. If you're giving something to multiple wojaks, you change it to wojakkum, which is the plural dative case form. These are all the possible.
I mean, I really feel it's even more difficult and less intuitive for English native speakers because, I mean, Italian grammar is really tough, but it's not as tough as this one. We don't have cases. At least I think we don't have cases, right? I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I learned a little bit of Russian before, so I know a little bit about cases. I'm learning Finnish that has cases as well. It's been tough. Like, I've memorized already like 4 cases, I will say. There are maybe like 12 or 13, so I don't know when I will ever learn them. But I feel like it's always better to just learn in context, you know, just learn as many words as you can, especially for tough languages like that. If you just focus too much on the grammar, you'll never make it. You're just gonna end up hating the language and at some point deciding, no, fuck that, I'm not gonna learn the language anymore. I mean, I speak by experience because I've quit Finnish so many times. Like, literally, oh, it's in the other room. I have the teacher self-Finnish book that you're supposed to allegedly finish it in 3 months. I'm at the last chapter right now after a full year. That means I quit the language so many times. But at the end, you know, in the past 2 to 3 months, I said, whatever, you know, I'm just gonna study every single day and just go through the grammatical rules in a very fast way, you know, just try to let it flow into me. Like, whenever I don't know something, I will just see why that is. If I understand it right away, good. If I don't, whatever, I will understand it at some point. And that had seemed to work out way better for me, you know? So I think I'm gonna continue like that. So that's an advice I can give you for sure. Like, otherwise, if you focus too much on this, you're gonna get crazy. For sure, you're gonna get crazy. Come on. You just have to let it flow into you. Just try to learn as many words as you can, and then at a certain point you will understand where you're gonna say it this way, like when are you gonna use the dative, or when are you going to use the vocative, you know? At a certain point, you will just get inside your head. And yeah, let's just go with that.
Possible different forms of the word wojak, which are basically just the word plus different suffixes. But those were only the endings for masculine animate nouns. Despite being spoken in a rather conservative country, Polish has a ton of noun genders. There's masculine personal, masculine animate, masculine inanimate, feminine, and neuter. So you've got to learn the case endings for all of those. And then, of course, there are exceptions. And adjectives are complicated as well because you've got to modify them depending on the number, gender, and case. And don't forget, Polish words already look like random button mashing, so learning how to alter these feels like a lost cause. Like, what is this? At least the subject pronouns are pretty straightforward. There are only 37 of them because cases, yip-de-doo. And verbs are no easier. First of all, there are 2 classes of verbs in Polish. There are imperfective and perfective verbs. So for basically any action you could think of doing, from playing to donating something, there are going to be 2 different forms of every verb. Let's zoom in on the verb to play, grać. This is the imperfective version of the verb, which means habitual, ongoing, or repeated playing. But there's also zagrać, which means to play one time. This is another example of a perfective verb, And here is its imperfective counterpart. What? It's like where's Waldo to spot the difference at this point? And don't even get me started with the conjugations. There are dozens of verb forms that change depending on mood, tense, and a bunch of other things. Who even cares? And there are 4 verb groups, so if you do the math, you gotta memorize hundreds of verb conjugations. And then they have a ton of reflexive verbs that make no sense and have totally different conjugations. Like, why is the verb to laugh reflexive? I don't laugh myself, I just laugh. Laughing myself sounds evil. And then they have around 20 irregular verbs, and the most common one is incredibly offensive to me and my people. It's literally a swear word in American, and I demand that the Poles...
Wait, which one?
...to me and my people.
Wait, I don't understand which one is
laugh
the
myself,
one?
I just laugh. Laughing myself sounds evil. And then they have around 20 irregular verbs, and the most common one is incredibly offensive to me and my people.
Wait, which one is it? Jedź, iść, dzieciać, wiedzieć, znak, dzieć, Wait, which one? Which one is the offensive one to Americans? I don't get it.
It's literally a swear word in American, and I demand that the Poles or the Haitians put a stop to this. I'm cringing even thinking about saying it, but it's pronounced bitch. I'm not a bitch! And it means to be. And like I said, it's irregular. Someone please tell me how bitch turns into yes-stem for the first person present singular conjugation. And whoopee, you also have to change the noun into the instrumental case for some reason when you use bitch. I love this language. I'm not a bitch. What I say now might be controversial, but I don't care at this point, guys. If you disagree with me, just dislike the video, whatever, I don't care. Polish is hard. Now it's time to talk about shock factor. How will native Polish speakers react to you speaking Polish as a foreigner? Well, if you speak Polish to a Pole and you are Russian, Ukrainian, or Belarusian, they won't be shocked at all. It's easy for you, and it's not hard to guess why you learned it. But if you're from anywhere else and you walk up to a Pole and speak even just a little bit of Polish to them, they'll be very confused. They'll ask, why on earth are you learning our impossible and not very useful language? They'll be concerned for your well-being, and they might even attempt to get you involuntarily committed to the psych ward. If your mental health evaluation comes back clean and you see the person again, they won't do backflips, but they may compliment you. And if you're really lucky, they might involuntarily shit out a Biedronka gift card, but I think the devs patched that glitch in 2024. Has anyone tried it recently? But seriously, once a Pole realizes you're doing alright mentally, they'll appreciate your effort to learn their language. But remember, they're Slavs, not Brazilians, so they won't start emoting and they won't give you the deed to their house. Poles are proud of their country, culture, and language, but sadly, no one really learns Polish. When someone gets Slav-pilled, they usually always go learn Soviet language, or in niche cases, Slovenian if they're trying to riz Melania Trump. Also, Poles speak pretty decent American, but unlike Germans or IKEA employees, they aren't always going to switch to American and refuse to speak Polish in a cringe attempt to linguistically alphamog you. They're nice, and they'll give you a chance to practice. I could talk about Polish all night, but I want to go play RuneScape, so it's time to give Polish an official Language Simp certified rating on the Simp scale. On a scale of dog water to Giga Chad, I place Polish solidly in the alpha tier. Wi-Fi password language is extremely intimidating.
Fair enough.
It looks like what happens when your cat walks across your keyboard, or like those word scramble puzzles that you have to rearrange. But if you stop being a beta, you'll quickly realize that it's a beautiful and mostly sensical language spoken in the hood, as well as in the objectively best country in Europe. Seriously, this is some S-tier DLC. Poland is awesome. The Polish language is super memeable, and I highly recommend that you learn it. The pronunciation and especially the grammar make Polish very difficult to get into, and even more difficult to master, but the grind will be worth it. Poles are nice, and women love a guy who speaks Polish. If you enjoyed this video, consider supporting me on Patreon, where I make language learning advice videos. And check out my ebook, The Hyperpolyglot Handbook, at languagesimp.com. This book will teach you exactly how to learn a language from start to finish the easy and fun way. And let me know in the comments which language you'd like me to review next. I don't know how to say goodbye in Polish, so I guess I'll say it in German Auf Wiedersehen.
Nah, this video was great. Oh my god, bro. I love his videos so much. His videos are the best for sure. Oh my god. I can't wait to start learning Polish. I feel like the moment I will become more fluent in Finnish is gonna be the moment I'm gonna be diving deeper into Polish. For now, I'm just trying to learn some words here and there, improve my pronunciation, and yeah, whenever there's an occasion, I try to learn it a little bit, but very slowly. I can't really dive deeper into the language right away because it will be too confusing, because Finnish is already super hard. But definitely once I've mastered or I've become a little bit more fluent in Finnish, that I don't need books anymore, I will get straight into Polish, definitely. So yeah, thank you so much guys for watching me. Yeah, there's a link in the description to watch the Language Simp video, the original, so go and check it out. Let me know your thoughts on this video that we just checked out. To me, it was so hilarious. And yeah, just enjoy this special day with your family. See you soon.